In the early morning hours on Monday, April 27th, a man rolled a tractor in Thomas County, leaving him with minor injuries. Just before 5 a.m. on Monday, April 27th, 74-year-old John Cardiel of Idaho Falls, Idaho, was headed eastbound on I-70 near mile marker 40 in Thomas County. The vehicle, a 2024 Peterbilt tractor, entered the north ditch. Cardiel overcorrected, overturned the vehicle, and rolled once before resting on its wheels. In other news, many of the area towns have spring cleanup dates set to take items that you've just been waiting to get rid of. The dates will vary. Some cities will have you call in advance, and not all items will be taken. You can find a list of all the area spring cleaning dates on our local news page, including Sharon Springs, Oakley, Hoxie, Colby, Goodland, Brewster, Quinter, St. Francis, and Burlington. Keep up to date with local news at nwksradio.net.
Today we'll have scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms. Will be mostly cloudy, southeast winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and highs around 60. Overnight, clearing skies, winds will turn to the northeast 5 to 10 miles per hour, with lows 35 to 40. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy, winds turn back to the southeast 5 to 15 miles per hour, with chances for scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms. Highs will be in the lower 60s and lows around 40. Thursday, chances for the scattered showers and storms will be throughout the day. Cloudy, southeast winds again 5 to 15 miles per hour. Highs around 60 and lows in the upper 30s. 3-day rain totals of 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch are possible, with the heaviest being along the Colorado line. Friday morning, we got chances for a few showers and clearing in the afternoon. Highs 60 to 65. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Here's a bright idea. Streaming without buffering. It's not 2014. There's no reason for laggy internet and buffering shows. IdeaTech has the technology. It's fiber optic cable. IdeaTech has brought high-speed fiber to 75 communities and counting. Don't put up with outdated internet. Streaming without buffering. Another bright idea from IdeaTech. Get fast, modern IdeaTech internet at ideatech.com.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pestaway in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pestaway today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They even have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
Your business was built right here, so was ours. At FNB Bank, we are not run from some distant city. We are run by neighbors, for neighbors. We know what matters to you because it matters to us too. From local decisions to face-to-face service, we are here. Bank local, grow local, stay local. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
You ready? One, two, three, four!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Give me my cane. I'll show you how to play this game.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps to the pros.
Cowgirls hunting them, and they're finding them. Stargell with another 3.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, and the insurance agency.
Let's go to work. High fly ball, right field, on its way. See you later. Grand slam, Moises Ballesteros. Swinging a line drive deep down the right field line, headed towards the corner. Gone! A go-ahead 3-run home run for Liam Hicks. Here's Compton, thought about it. One touchdown! And we are tied at threes. Okay, turns the corner.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. We are back on the Morning Blitz broadcast course on Rocket 102.5 KLOE and KSRadio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you're with us for this Tuesday, April the 28th. All the great ones were born on this day, Garrett Wellbrock. All the great ones.
All right. Why is that?
It's just your boy's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday. I didn't know that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, I just play that joke all the time with my wife. All the great ones are born on this day. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, your boy celebrating a birthday today. Yeah. How old are you? How old do you think I am, Garrett? You haven't known me for very long. How old do you think I am, judging by my youthful exuberance and my slightly bit of gray hair coming out the side of my head?
Oh, man, that's a tough question.
Throw a number out. I'm not going to be offended. Well, I will.
I'll go 32.
Yep, not bad. 37 years old
37,
today.
all right.
37. What year were you born?
2003.
Okay, good. We haven't reached the date where I've got people I'm working with graduated high school. Or sorry, the year I graduated high school is the same year that they were born. That's going to be that. I think it's going to be my mark. You know, it's like I think we've reached the end. We're still not there yet. But good Tuesday morning, everybody. Off and rolling on a Morning Blitz today. We'll be visiting with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Nebraska baseball almost in the top 15, top 16 now. And we'll be discussing with him what Nebraska needs to do to hopefully have a chance to do something they haven't done since the year 2008. That'd be host a regional there in Lincoln. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other college baseball things. And we may even touch on Evan and a few other topics surrounding Husker athletics here today. Busy day in local sports. We'll tackle that in the last segment as well. And we will get going here in just a little bit. Our topic of the day: does the NCAA or college sports have a big problem on their hands with the news surrounding Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby? We'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. Garrett, how are we doing today? What's the shirt today? Is this this looks like a throwback a little bit.
Throwback Tiger. It says TMN, Tiger Media Network, where I worked. It's one of our quarter zips that we got. They always supply us with a lot of good gear, so got to rep it out.
I would say I love the throwback Tiger logo. That's pretty sweet.
I wish they would just go back to the throwback Tiger. I think it looks good, but I don't think they ever will.
Was there ever a Tiger logo with the sailor hat on? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Remember when that was a big thing? Had sailor hats on everything?
Yeah, they have one though that's holding a little pennant. They put that on the one of their like alternate football helmets, which looks really clean. I like that look. I wish that's the logo they'd go back to, but
see, I think they should ban all alternate uniforms except throwbacks. Like if you're gonna wear a uniform, you can't have any alternates. You know, you have to pick your two, your home and your away. That's it. But if you want to honor your past by wearing throwbacks, I'm all for it.
No, I like that. I like that.
A dumb rule in Ross's realm of sports, I guess, if you want to call it that. But boy, what were we up to last night? I'm telling you, last night I was pretty much wiped out, but I was sitting there watching a little bit of playoff hockey last night. Anybody happened to watch the Mammoth and the Golden Knights last night? That was a nutty game, to say the very least, because the Golden Knights were up 3-0. You're thinking this sucker is over, only to see the Utah Mammoth come storming back and take a 4-3 lead and then end up losing it in overtime 5-4.
Do all that work to come back and then blow it. That's disheartening.
That was tough. Did you happen to watch the NBA playoffs last night?
I watched that Nuggets game, Nuggets Timberwolves, and they look good. Nuggets finally decided to wake up.
I didn't watch any of it because I'm telling you, it was like, I'm like, it's my bedtime. I mean, good for you for watching it, but I was
I didn't
go to bed. But I mean, yeah, I'm glad to see the Nuggets got a game back there. I think that was kind of predicted. What was was Anthony Edwards playing for the T-Wolves?
No, I think he's out a couple of weeks. He might not return to the series, so Nuggets might have a chance to actually come back in that one. I mean, with DiVincenzo out too, he's done for the rest of the playoffs, probably next year too for quite some time. So
the basketball gods shining upon the Nuggets, possibly with the injuries that have happened to the T-Wolves. We'll see. That series continues again. That'd be Wednesday with that series continuing, I believe, between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. And still 3-2? Is that right?
Yeah, 3-2. They still got work to do, but
yeah.
I mean, kind of like you said, the basketball gods are kind of helping them out right now with those injuries. And I just don't know where the Timberwolves go for scoring. I mean, they got Julius Randle. Naz Reid was even banged up too at the end of that game. He rolled his ankle. I'm not sure his status going into game 6, but yeah, the Timberwolves are beat up. So I think the Nuggets got a decent little chance to come back 3-1.
No, we will see about all that coming up in the coming days. Did you have softball last night?
Yeah, I did.
What was the stat line last night?
I think I got out only once. It was a really good day at the plate.
Oh, man.
I mean, yeah.
The average went up big time yesterday.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Another couple wins or another win or two?
We split. Well, I'm trying to think. I played some co-ed too. So we won all our co-ed games and then split in the men's night. So
do you prefer the men's or the co-ed side more?
Probably the men's, just because I got more of my, I mean, I like the people I play co-ed with, but all my friends are on the men's team. So
understandable. Well, FB Bank text line open 785-899-2222. If you want to be part of the morning blitz, you can send in your text. Thank you to Michael for the birthday wishes. Appreciate that. Appreciate you also listening all the time, Michael, and being a part of the show every single day. Officer Jared, thank you as well for the happy birthdays. Appreciate that. He goes, no topic of discussion, but he does say go Huskers. I feel like I'll say that, even though he's a huge Colorado fan. That really had to hurt to say that, Jared. Thank you for that gift. That had to hurt really badly. Let's see. It did. He says, well, he's commenting on a lot of things about uniform. He says the Oregon Ducks 167 uniform combinations that Oregon has. Talking about my uniform thoughts, but Oregon was the original team to do the alternate uniform. So if they want to get grandfathered in and they don't have to deal with my rules, that's fine with it. They were the originals. It's the teams that try too hard to come up with something to be like Oregon that I have a struggle with.
And it feels like Oregon never has a bad one either. I mean, they can go any color they want. It's going to look good for some reason. But
yeah, the person who's ever in charge of that at Nike and Oregon has, they are batting pretty close to 1,000 on stuff. Mm-hmm. They're batting pretty close to 1,000. Well, speaking of college football, news yesterday coming out surrounding the college football game. And this is a big topic in the sports one. I think really it has massive legs to continue to be discussed about for the coming weeks and years. But news coming out that Texas Tech quarterback Brennan Sorsby, and Sorsby, of course, was one of the most, if not the most sought after player in the portal after the college football season got over. Sorsby was at, of course, previously, I should say, Sorsby was playing at not Indiana. He was at Indiana to start his career. He was at Cincinnati is where he was, obviously. And so Cincinnati, he goes there and he has himself a really good year last year, puts up a lot of numbers. He came to Kansas and had a great game. He really gave Nebraska fits when they played in the season opening game. And then he ended up getting himself a massive, I'm going to guess it was probably, if it wasn't a $10 million deal, I'm going to guess it was pretty dang close to that. He got a lot of money from Texas Tech to come play quarterback there for his final year of college eligibility. But news came out yesterday that Brennan Sorsby is taking a leave of absence from the team as he is going to work on his gambling addiction that he has. I've read that he has cast over, I don't know if he cast where you want to say it, he has made over 1,000, not massive, but 1,000, small bets over the course of his time being able to do this, which really isn't that long. I mean, probably over the course of his career, so let's just say 4 to 5 years, he's placed over 1,000 bets on football, including apparently on games that when he was at Indiana, he would bet on the Hoosiers or bet against the Hoosiers and that kind of stuff, which honestly would be easy money back then, right?
Yeah, they were.
Take
that
the
was pre-Signetti days.
Yeah, pre-Signetti days, it was easy money, but game over. So he is taking a leave of absence. I doubt, for some reason in my mind, he will not be gone for extremely long, but he is going to step away for a little bit to try and focus on this issue as Brendan Sorsby. And what were your thoughts when you saw this news come across the ticker? I had some interesting thoughts. What were some of your thoughts you saw come across the news ticker, Garrett?
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate. I just can't believe like you have that opportunity to be a Division I athlete and to get the money you're getting. You know, it's a different world now. I mean, it's not like this was 10 years ago, but you're getting almost $10 million, maybe $10 million plus to go play quarterback, that you're just going to throw that away. I don't know if I'd imagine he's probably done at Texas Tech. I don't know what the next coming months look like for him, but
really, whoa, you think he's out at Texas Tech?
I think so. I don't know how you can, if you're betting on games, I mean, if he was betting on, if that's true, a true report at Indiana, betting on the games, I mean, I know he wasn't playing, but still, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, if you do that in the professional world, you're done. Like, you will never have another opportunity. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Also, one thing that came to my mind also was K-State just probably is at home feeling if Sorsby's done, they might have a really good shot at winning the Big 12 next year. So I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know. For some reason in my mind, according to sources, Sorsby bet on Indiana football while redshirting for the Hoosiers as a true freshman in 2022, a season in which he played in a single game as a reserve. The bets in 2022, according to sources, were on Indiana to win. Well, geez, he wanted to lose money. And none came in the game in which Sorsby appeared. Let's see here. Sorsby's gambling has not drawn the attention of law enforcement, according to sources, nor has he been linked to anyone attempting to influence the outcome of a game. Sorsby's gambling, sources said, was a steady flurry of small bets over a period of time. This is coming from an article on ESPN. There's no timetable for Sorsby's treatment, as sources say that his situation is being treated as a mental health matter and that Sorsby will be afforded all the time he needs. His decision as a high-profile college athlete to enter a facility to treat his gambling addiction while enrolled is unprecedented. The thing you saying that you think he's done at Texas Tech blows my mind. I don't think that's going to be the case for some reason. You watch, he'll be gone for about a month, maybe a month and a half. He'll be back in time for fall camp, and he'll be the starting quarterback on day one there in Lubbock. That's my gut feeling. I don't think my biggest thing that I took away from this story was the fact this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is a problem that is happening across college athletics. I can guarantee it. It is a problem that's going on right now. And so that means they've got a lot of issues that they have got to get figured out. Does the NCAA, college athletics, all this stuff. This is not something I can guarantee. There are players around the country saying, I've been doing that for years too. I don't feel like I've got an addiction problem. I bet you there are tons of guys around there that have been saying that and betting money on that kind of stuff. Tons of stuff like that. But this is the problem. Once again, when you open the door to this stuff, this is the issue. And for the longest time, there were the old stalwarts, probably, the Bill Snyders and the Tom Osborns and stuff like that. They'd say, we do not want this. We do not want gambling to be involved with college athletics. And we do not want people to be able to gamble on it. We do not want our players to get massive amounts of money to get paid. They are student athletes, and students comes first. We don't want these things because it's going to lead to bigger problems down the road. Guess what? We are at those problems down the road. We've opened the doors to this stuff, and this is the things that are going to happen when you see this. And so I just think it's amazing to me that you've got that this is no doubt happening at almost every institution. I can almost guarantee, and I guarantee that every institution has someone come in and say, you cannot bet on your games. You cannot bet on this stuff. You cannot do it. No matter how much money you have, you can. And people don't listen. It's just too easy anymore. All you got to do is pull out your phone. Heck, I remember talking to high school kids, and they were placing small bets on stuff. Now, once again, that they're not betting on their own games. They're betting on, the NBA and over-unders and things like that. But they're doing it on their phones. When they're old enough to do it, they're doing it. It's just way too accessible. It's become way too easy. And so you can easily do it if you're Brendan Sorsby or anybody else. And it's happening all across college athletics. I guarantee it. He is not the only case. This is a massive problem because something is going to happen where you're going to have a situation where a player does throw a game or something along those lines and ends up impacting the line. That's going to be a humongous problem for you. And once again, and not only does it stem from the fact that players can do this now because gambling is legal, but it also stems from the fact that they have a surplus of money that they know that they don't really need to do anything else with. You could get rid of all that. You could fix a lot of problems. Once again, if you actually did what NIL was meant to do, if you actually were not just paying for play and all this stuff that's been going on, if you actually just did it, and if you took a step back and stuff, which it's almost impossible to do because the toothpaste is out of the tube now, but this is the kind of things that are going to happen. Yeah. And it's a big time problem.
And you're probably right on the fact of he's going to be making too much money next year for him to probably not be the starting quarterback week one. But I just think the NCAA needs to set a precedent on this, because if you let this happen, if you let him just walk away like nothing happened here in several months, next year something's going to happen again probably. It's just going to keep on growing and getting worse if you don't take a stand and make something happen here of Brendan Sorsby, make an example out of him. And and I'm not saying, I don't know, obviously him personally, I'm guessing he's probably a good guy, but you make a mistake like that at that level, there's going to be consequences.
I would love it if they would make an example out of somebody. I just don't think it's going to happen. The NCAA, which is once again the enforcing persona, are supposed to be, he doesn't have the backbone to do that. And that's just, I don't know. That's just the tough part about it. You got to make an example of somebody. You got to find a way. I don't know how once again, I'm not smart enough person to know this, but you have to find a way to get this thing. The toothpaste, once again, as I've said many times, you can't put it back in the tube, but you got to find a way to kind of get that corralled in. Imagine it's all over the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, and you got to get that toothpaste kind of into a pile so that you can kind of clean up the mess. That's what they have to do. It's not going to be going back into the tube. You're not going to stop. You're not going to stop paying players. Excuse me. And you're not going to be able to stop this gambling thing. I don't think that's going to be the case. You got to find a way to put up some guardrails and some barriers to prevent this, and put some big time rules up. Like if you have an issue, if you get caught with this kind of stuff, you're going to get let go. I got a text here from another texter on the FP Bank text saying, he thinks that he's gone too, just like you. Why do they keep saying that they don't make this, that they don't, in any article that I've read, they don't make it sound like as if he's going to be gone. They just make it like, well, he's just getting treated. It's just like he's got alcoholic addiction. He's going to get treated, then he'll be back. So it makes it sound like.
Yeah, they sure do.
I don't know. I for some reason in my gut, I feel like he will be back playing college football at some point in time this year. That's what I feel like. They don't have and the NCAA doesn't want to probably enforce anything, because guess what? They'll get sued. He will sue them. He's got the money to sue because he can afford a fancy lawyer, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I kind of think
for him.
The same thing goes to the Texas Tech coaching staff. They're paying him too much money to let him go.
Oh, yeah.
It's the right thing to do, is to let him go. And sure, he could get picked up somewhere else, but I would have a problem seeing him as a Texas Tech quarterback again. Kind of like to your point, it probably will happen. I just wish it wouldn't, but it probably will.
Another interesting thing that I've kind of picked up on here the last couple of days, reading and listening to some stuff, think about from the NFL perspective too. The NFL might have a small problem on its hands to where, it's got a bunch of guys that it would love to have come play in its league, really good players, but they're hanging around in college. And if this 5 for 5 gets passed, they're going to have really good players that are going to stick around for 5 years because they're going to make more money playing college football than they would on a rookie contract in the NFL, unless they're going to be a first-round pick possibly. Think about that. They're making more money playing college football than the professionals do. And that's why you see there's guys that are going to the NFL this year that got drafted that are taking pay cuts. Mm-hmm. Think about that. That's how ridiculous this has gotten. The pros don't even match the amount of money that college football is throwing around at times at guys. And this is an area where they once again have got to get this under control. I've said it to many people. I've said, I believe in a cap. I believe in a cap for how much you can spend on a particular player based upon their level of, like, if they're a freshman, a sophomore, junior, or senior. If you're a freshman, you can't make more than $250,000. If you're a sophomore, you can make $500,000. Junior, $750,000, and then maybe $1 million if you are a senior. That's the most you can make. I could see. Once again, and people are like, oh, you can't do that. You're limiting the amount of making for people. Well, you know what? In life, there's that too. When Garrett starts off his career, I guarantee he's not going to make as much money as someone who's been in the business as his old man who's been in the business for what, 35, 40 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, think about it. Would you expect to get paid as much as your dad who's been putting in the time for 40 years?
Nope.
No, exactly. So why can't you do that in college athletics?
Yeah. I wish there was kind of to your point on the pay cuts, I wish there was whatever the minimum is for each sport, basketball, football, baseball. Well, baseball's a little different because you have minor leagues, but mainly basketball, the NBA and NFL. The minimum pay that you can get for a single season, you should not get more than that at college. So if it's $750,000, I don't know what it is off the top of my head for the NFL, the minimum deal, $750,000. No college player should be getting more than that anyway per year, but it definitely should be a cap on that. And look, if you say they give you $600,000, but then you actually use the NIL how it was intended to be with different brands and companies for commercials, ads, whatever it might be, and then you end up getting over the $750,000, I think that's perfectly fine. But I don't think as a bidding war for a player, it shouldn't be these high numbers, 5 to 10 mil. That's insane.
No, and I agree with you 100%. If there is a business that wants to use, let's just say you'll use Brendan Sorsby. I could make a funny joke out of this. Bet365 wants to sponsor Brendan Sorsby, and pay him $1 million to do commercials. Or Drew Aller was doing something for Dodge Ram this previous fall. If you've got enough clout because you're well enough known and a good enough player, and you got that kind of stuff because of who you like Johnny Manziel was a star and could have made a whole lot more money in this era because of who he was. He was a superstar away from the field. If you want to make more money because you are a superstar because of your brand, that's fine. That's actually what NIL was supposed to be. You can make money because you're known of. But if you're just the backup running back who is who's in the portal and gets brought to a school to become the starter, you don't have the clout that some of these guys, that doesn't mean that you need to be making as much money. Once again, if you have a skill set or something outside of the game that you play and you want to make money off of it, by all means, that's fine. But it's the institutions and boosters paying players to come and play, the pay for play thing, that is the really, really bad part.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Can't complain. Can't argue with that one. Yeah.
Officer Jared says Carson Beck losing money in the NFL. Absolutely, he is. There are a lot of players that are losing money in the NFL from this draft class. They were making way more in the college game. I think, what are we teaching young people? Let's just, since you're just wrapping up college, let's just say that you were playing baseball at LSU. We're going to just throw LSU under the bus here. You're playing baseball at LSU. When you came there, you were highly recruited. Not only did you get all your schooling and tuition and all that stuff paid for, but you got, of course, a bag of cash. Let's say you got a vehicle from a local dealership. You maybe even got an apartment to stay in based upon, they pay for the apartment. You got all that stuff. When you graduated at a certain, when it came to May 8th or whenever, or maybe it's April, we'll just say it's today, April 28th, it's eviction day. Guess what? Well, this contract's over. You're leaving. We can't, you're out of your house. Give us the keys to your car. Appreciate it. Thanks. Guess what? You got to go find a car. You got to go find all that stuff. And you didn't save that money back to save a car. Teaching people horrible habits. with the way the rules are now. Horrible.
100%. Coach Calipari, Arkansas head coach for basketball. He went on ESPN not too long ago and was talking about that. Like, you got all these, just outrageous numbers that kids are making now. And then, say somebody is just, they don't go to play professionally and they just have to find a normal job after college is over. And it's like $60,000 a year. Like, what are you going to say if you're a kid that was making, $1 million in college and then has to go and get an average person job? You're going to be like, what is this money? This is dumb. They're building terrible habits. Like you said, it's just,
there's really nothing positive about this whole situation. And once again, and I know we've really gone down a path here. That was not the topic. Start off with Brendan Sorsby about gambling in college, but it's all the same thing. You can go back, you can trace the money back to it. If you didn't have this kind of money, you probably wouldn't be placing as many bets. And if you didn't allow gambling on your sport, it'd be better as well. But it's all out in the open now, and it's good luck getting that all taken care of. All right, we got to get to a break. Thanks to all the text, FNB Bank text line for all the thoughts and the birthday wishes. Lucas wants to know, he wanted to know, what are your thoughts or my thoughts on Emmett Johnson, the Chiefs? I think it's great. I think it's a great landing spot for him. He's a hard worker. We'll see how he can do in that backfield. He's a nice CB, a different change of pace back from Kenneth Walker, I think. But I think it was a good, he fell quite a bit in the draft. I think he probably should have gone late third or for sure in the fourth. But it fell away to the fifth round. The Chiefs is what they do. They find the sleepers in the draft, and he's a really, really good player. He's an All-American, all-purpose back. So I like him a lot, and we'll see what he can do at Kansas City. That's for sure. He's another guy, by the way, who will not be making as much money as he did when he was in college. I can guarantee you that. All right, 7:34 Mountain, 8:34 Central Time on a Tuesday. We'll wrap up and come back with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald next for the Morning Blitz.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with Skyland Grain. Today is Tuesday, April 28th. Grains firmer on the overnight. May corn higher 2.5 at 463.5. July up 3.5 at 473. December corn up 4 cents at 493.5. May soybeans down 3/4 at 11.75. July down 1 1/4 at 11.90. November soybeans up 3/4 at 11.65.5. Kansas City wheat, the May contract higher 15 1/4 at 682.5. July up 15 1/4 at 690.5. December hard wheat up 13 3/4 at 714 3/4. Chicago wheat, the May contract higher 10 at 632 3/4. July up 10 1/4 at 641. December soft wheat up 10.5 at 672.5. On the livestock side of things, live cattle higher $4.10 on the overnights at $248.97. Feeders up $3.15 at $370.50. Lean hogs up 2 cents at $94.50 a hundredweight. On the equity side of things, the Dow down $62 at 49,167. The S&P up 8 at 7,173. The Nasdaq up 50 at 24,887. Gold lower $85 an ounce at 4,608. Crude oil up $30 a barrel at $99.50. If you have any questions about marketing grain and would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. Our Kansas City office, that's Tyler Ghosh, Tom Pluto, or Jared Law at 913-748-3000. Or our Ulysses office, Cindy Warner, Austin Wright, or myself, Kate Thompson, at 602-356-7800.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
AirTerra turns our crops into high-performance air filters that help clean the air in your home and office, creating new markets for corn and supporting rural communities. When you choose AirTerra, you're supporting farm families and homegrown innovation. Kansas corn is working for farmers and working for you.
Want to be part of the Morning Blitz?
Sometime I'll give you a piece of my mind, like right now.
Send your thoughts to the F&B Bank text line at 785-899-2222.
All right, continuing on a Tuesday program here on the Morning Blitz. Thanks to everyone for chiming in. FB Bank text line continue to be open at 785-899-2222. Full day of local sports, which we'll touch on a little bit later on in the next segment here. But it's also a busy day in the college baseball realm. And boy, I tell you, there's 3 teams in our listening area that are having some phenomenal baseball seasons that are getting ready to try and not only make the postseason, but possibly have a chance to host as well. One of them, of course, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and we're pleased to welcome onto the program Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, good morning. How are we doing today, sir?
Morning, doing great. It's a good day for some baseball.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know, it's gonna be a little cool on the inset maybe today for some baseball. Maybe a little cool, maybe
a little bit. Maybe some hot chocolate or a warm pretzel or something that can get you through.
What is your number one ballpark food, Evan, if you had to pick one? And let's say you're not covering a game, you're enjoying it as a fan. We'll throw that in there as well.
Right. I'm going to go a hot dog and with some of the fixings, ketchup and mustard. Nothing too crazy. Maybe a bag of peanuts, share them with the group and that kind of thing.
There you go. The peanuts. Peanuts or sunflower seeds?
I like the peanuts personally. If I'm like participating in a game or at a youth game, maybe go sunflowers a little bit more. But I don't know, if I'm just sitting in the crowd, hanging out at like a major league park or college game as a fan, I'm going to bust out a bag of peanuts.
Hot dog and peanuts. He's a baseball fan. Evan Bland is. That is for sure. From the Omaha World Herald. Evan, Nebraska baseball has been on a great run here this season, and hopefully that trend will continue through the rest of the way. Still got a couple of important series, particularly if Nebraska wants to end up on the hosting side of things when it comes to a regional. As you sit here today along that topic, what do you think the odds are that Nebraska ends up hosting a regional, and how slim is the margin of error to getting that done?
Yeah, I think I'd probably put it at slightly better than 50-50 that they would do it at this point. And part of that's because a lot of the RPI hay is in the barn, so to speak. I mean, they've had a couple of long winning streaks. They're comfortably in second place in the Big Ten standings. They had that marquee series win when they swept USC a couple of weeks ago at home. And so it sets up tonight and then a month of May where you're not trying to play your way into the conversation. You're just trying not to play your way out of the conversation. And so if you can go on the road and win a series at Ohio State, which is an average, I think, so middle of the road kind of Big Ten team, at Minnesota to end the year, you've got Iowa coming in to Haymarket Park and Lincoln for 3. And so those are all kind of fringe teams that'll be trying to make the league tournament, but Nebraska, based on what it's done should have some success there. So I think this is a team in Nebraska that can win in a lot of different ways. It's a team that has strong player leadership at the top. It's a team that hasn't let circumstances affect how it plays. And so, yeah, I think if you see the Huskers continuing to do what they've done right now, they've got an RPI of 13. You look at the history of those top 16 national seeds, it correlates really strongly with RPI. So if Nebraska can maintain, a number in that 10 to 15 to 18 sort of range, then I absolutely like their chances of having some games in Lincoln for the first time since 2008 in the postseason.
How important is tonight's game against Kansas State? It feels like it's a pretty big game with the fact, if you want to solidify that possible host, you need to win this thing. And for Kansas State, it's also big because they've kind of been slipping as of late. They're trying to stay in the hunt for a postseason spot.
Yeah, this is a game, like these two teams have already played twice this year, and I think those other two games had a much different tone than this one did, in part because of what you're saying about Kansas State fading a little bit. Obviously ran into a red-hot Kansas team last weekend, and what the Wildcats have been able to do under Coach Hughes the last couple of years has been really impressive. Super regional 2 years ago and a regional last year, and now you look at their RPI and they're right on the edge of that at-large consideration. It might be getting to the point where they need to win the Big 12 tournament to get that auto bid. And so they're fighting for their postseason lives. Nebraska has its sights set on something different, like we said, trying to host a regional and keeping that resume. So I kind of felt like the first two games between Kansas State and Nebraska had a different tone to where this one now sort of becomes an RPI speed bump that Nebraska just needs to not hit too hard. And because the game's in Lincoln, this is a quad 3 game for Nebraska. So you lose a quad 3 game, that does ding your resume a little bit. You do give a little bit back, in terms of the RPI and the metrics and the formulas and things. So, it's a chance for the Huskers to show that, that some of these circumstances don't necessarily affect what they do. I mean, Kansas State can slug the baseball with the best of them right now. So that'll probably be task number one for Nebraska, is keeping the Wildcats off the scoreboard, or at least limit some of their scoring chances. But it is, I think, two teams that are going in a little bit of different directions right now. And those are sometimes the most interesting games, especially on a midweek.
You talk about Nebraska, a little bit of the league tournament coming up here soon. They're the back-to-back Big Ten tournament champions. What's kind of the hype going in to that Big Ten tournament as they look to three-peat?
Well, it's a different vibe. Interestingly enough, it'll be 3 different formats for the Big Ten tournament. When you look at this one this year, the one 2 years ago, they were well into the NCAA tournament field, and so that had a certain tone. I thought last year, like, they needed to win the Big Ten tournament to make a regional, and so they pulled out all the stops and were able to get that thing done, and they beat UCLA in the championship and a packed crowd in Omaha. That was a really cool scene. And so I think this year it's kind of somewhere in the middle, where there hasn't been a ton of talk about the league tournament necessarily, just because, again, a lot of the regional hosting discussion is kind of taken up most of the oxygen there. But, it could be a situation where Nebraska's right on that line to potentially host. If you've got like a 15 or 16 RPI, the way the Big Ten sets up and where Nebraska is, it's going to be in a single elimination quarterfinal, and maybe you need to win a game or two against marquee opponents just to get your resume over the top a little bit. So there may well be some significant weight to how that Big Ten tournament plays out for Nebraska, not just for the sake of winning the league crown, but for what they do the week after that too.
Evan Bland is our guest, the Omaha World Herald, covers Nebraska baseball and Nebraska athletics for the Omaha World Herald. What about the Friday night situation? This has been an interesting storyline for those who follow it pretty closely. Ty Horn was the Friday night starter all throughout. Most recently, Coach Will Bolt says we're going to put him in a bullpen type role and move Cooper Katsky up to the Friday spot. And Cooper Katsky hasn't had the best couple of starts on Friday night, and the Huskers got off to some rocky starts on Friday. What are your thoughts on that going forward and how they solidify that Friday night spot?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I mean, the Friday night spot all year has been okay, hasn't been great. And I think the thing you want the most out of your Friday night guy in college baseball is you want some length. You want your guy to go 6, maybe 7 innings, quality start, and not just put you in contention to win the game, but also save your bullpen for the rest of the weekend. Like, you just know in college baseball, nobody has enough arms. And so, like, the more that you can preserve your bullpen on a Friday, the better. And it just hasn't been the case for Nebraska. And so I think that was probably the thing with Ty Horn, was he was routinely coming out in the 3rd and the 4th. And so the move that they made with him to the pen a couple weeks ago, as it relates to his performance, has been really strong. I mean, he's been able to affect multiple games a week for Nebraska. They beat Creighton a couple weeks ago. They probably wouldn't have done so without him. He was on the mound for 2 of the games against USC. I'm guessing he'll be a factor tonight against Kansas State. So his velocity is up when he's been a reliever. Like, just his attitude has, I think, been more befitting of a relief pitcher, where he's just kind of letting his emotions show a little bit more than he did as a starter, and that's translated onto the field. So that part's been effective. And not to mention, Nebraska's actually needed somebody to fill that role, kind of that long relief bridge between a starter and the closer, Jay Sean Unger. So that part's been successful. But the other part, like you mentioned with Cooper Katsky, kind of yet to be determined a little bit here. I mean, his first start in the Friday role came on short rest, and so you could kind of see why maybe that didn't work out. But then last weekend at Illinois, another rough one with some uncharacteristic command issues and long counts to batters. And so I think that's probably one thing. You talk about what Nebraska needs to figure out in this next month before the games become, the most meaningful, is how that Friday spot looks. And maybe that's Katsky figuring things out. I mean, he was great at Miami of Ohio last year, the MAC pitcher of the year. And maybe that becomes Nebraska sort of building it into their plan and saying, okay, if Katsky's going to go 3 or 4, then maybe this is a game that you use Ty Horn with him in tandem, or a couple of their other arms that can give you multiple innings, and you just kind of piece it together in a more unconventional way. So I think that's probably one of the big things to watch here in the next month, is how that Friday job settles out before you start figuring out who's taking the ball in the Big Ten tournament or in the regional.
Once again, Evan Bland is our guest here on the Morning Blitz, talking Nebraska baseball as the Huskers get set to take on Kansas State tonight there at Haymarket Park, and then they will wrap up the Big Ten slate the rest of the way. If you had to, I'll let you go on this one, Evan. My final question for you. You look at what Dylan Carey has done coming back, and kind of what I feel like is his revenge tour after not getting, any sort of looking at from the MLB when it came to last year. His revenge tour, or the play of freshman Drew Grigo. Who has been more of a surprise performance between those two guys? Or is there somebody else that has been more of a surprise to this year's team than those two?
I mean, those are two good ones. I think I'd probably say Carey, just because he had to sort of reinvent himself a little bit as a senior. Grigo was a highly viewed prospect from Bellevue West, and it's not, I don't think, a shock maybe that he's performing. He's been a winning player. Maybe he's doing it a little sooner than people would have thought. But I thought, Carey, for 3 years, excellent defensive shortstop and sort of a table setter, a gap to gap hitter. And the revenge tour is I think that's a good way to put it, because he fully expected to get drafted in the offseason, or at least have a chance at pro ball. And scouts told him, look, if you're playing that position, you need to be more of a power threat offensively. And so he retooled his swing, he bulked up, he changed his approach, and now you look at what he's doing. I mean, double-digit home runs, and in terms of WAR, he's one of the top players in college baseball, saving runs and generating runs. Intangibly, he's a clear leader of this team. So really impressive response, I think, to what was disappointing news for him last year. The other guy I would put in that mix too would be Mac Moyer, and any professional baseball fans would remember his dad, Jamie Moyer, who was a longtime pitcher in the majors. And Mac Moyer is a kid who took the junior college route, got to Nebraska this year, was not in their opening weekend lineup, but he got a few chances, and he's been a mainstay in center field really since late February. He's got an on-base streak well over 40 consecutive games at this point. Just a kind of an old school throwback sort of guy, one of the nation's leaders in hits right now. So, you talk about the resurgence of Nebraska's offense from what it was a year ago. One of the big reasons is Mac Moyer at the top. I mean, just setting the table constantly for guys like Dylan Carey and Case Sanderson and Jet Buck and some of these other guys. So I think that's a characteristic of a lot of these top teams in college baseball, right? Is you have to have development stories and surprises, and Nebraska certainly has more than a few of those.
Jet Buck actually is one guy. He came over from Washburn. I actually got a chance to play him when I was at Fort Hays. What do you see out of him just in his transition from the Division II to the D1 level?
Yeah, he's been what Nebraska was looking for. I mean, they tried to upgrade their power, and Jet Buck has brought that kind of an interesting path with him. Like I mentioned, everyone thought Dylan Carey was going to get drafted, and they brought in Buck to play shortstop. Well, Carey comes back, and so they put Buck at second base, and then Rhett Stokes, who's a veteran with Nebraska, has kind of taken over at second, and so they put Buck in left field. There have been some injuries in the outfield, and so he's played a really good defensive outfield at what's probably his third preferred position right now, and then again, providing some pop out of the 5 or 6 hole typically is where he's been. And another guy too, who I think has really added to the culture there, as a guy who's got a big personality. He's an older player, very, very experienced college baseball player at this point. Maybe he's played himself into a professional look after this year potentially. But, I think that's the other thing is you need to, when you do go to the portal, you have to find guys that are going to contribute not just on the field, but as part of sort of the ethos of your program. And I think Nebraska feels like, it hit a home run in both those ways with Jet Buck.
He is Evan Bland, the Omaha World Herald. Evan, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. We'll catch up down the road. Go enjoy some peanuts tonight.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I'll see ya.
Once again, Evan Bland there, the Omaha World Herald. Tonight, by the way, I mentioned Case, of course, Nebraska, Kansas State tonight. Huge game, especially for Kansas State and for Nebraska. I think it's huge because if Nebraska loses, that really puts a ding on their resume. K-State needs this win to remain kind of in the hunt for a postseason spot. They have really slid here as of late. So it's a big game there. And Kansas, by the way, the hottest team in college baseball on the road down at Wichita State tonight, where I think they'll probably pick up win number, 18 out of 19? Good Lord. Just white hot is Kansas baseball. My goodness. So anyway, that's what's going on tonight in baseball. Let's get to a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap the show with some quick thoughts on local sports today and get on out of here. We're up against the clock here on a Tuesday edition of the Morning Blitz.
What if your soil could work harder without more inputs? Fed and Happy Base Camp is biologically alive, packed with worm castings, minerals, and microbioenergy that builds structure, holds moisture, and unlocks nutrients already in your ground and in the air above. Less waste, more resilience, better yields. Stop farming against your soil. Start farming with it. Fed and Happy Base Camp. Talk to us today and see the difference this season.
Got your tax refund? Don't blow it. Upgrade it at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Get into a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $7,000 in rebates or 2.9% for 48 months. Or into a 26 GMC Sierra 2500, $1,000 rebate or 4.9% for 48 months. And the 26 GMC Acadia 2.9% APR plus $750 in rebates with GM Financial. Your refund won't last, but a new GMC will. Stop by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or visit hurlchev.com.
Scott Gaywith told me that after a stalk of his good-looking corn gets a compliment, it just says, "Aw, shucks." Speaking of corny, Shaw Gaywith Fertilizer and Seed continues with their special. Scott says, well, not to brag, but great prices on a bag of Golden Harvest corn seed as low as $2.35 per bag. Now that's a deal for your drills on quality Golden Harvest seed. Plus, extended financing is available with approved credit at Shaw Gaywith Fertilizer and Seed, rural Oberlin, Kansas, putting more profit in your pocket.
Are you ready to add a touch of sparkle to your life? Look no further than Zimbelman's Jewelry, your local hometown store. At Zimbelman's Jewelry, we believe that every piece of jewelry tells a unique story, and we're here to help you find the perfect one to cherish forever. From stunning engagement rings that symbolize eternal love to exquisite necklaces that complement your style, we have a dazzling collection to suit every taste and budget. So come visit us at Zimbelman's Jewelry in downtown Burlington today and discover the magic of jewelry that celebrates life's precious moments.
From the locker room to your morning commute, it's all sports, all the time.
That's what I'm talking about. Sport!
On the Morning Blitz.
All right, real quickly, a local sports update here before we get out of here. Yesterday, Cimarron had their invitational. I could not find the official scores, but I think I just kind of put the pieces together. This is always risky to do, putting pieces together from what you've seen on social media. I believe Goodland took first. Colby took second. They were at the Cimarron Invitational yesterday. Hoxie Invitational is today. A lot of schools going to that. Colby Community College baseball ended a 5-game losing streak. They beat McCook 15-5. For the first time this season, they beat the McCook Community College Indians. They will wrap up their later this week. They've got a 4-gamer against Dodge City starting on Wednesday and then continuing on into, I think, Saturday. Colby High School baseball and softball taking on Cimarron Ingalls today. Softball at home hosting Cimarron Ingalls, baseball at Cimarron Ingalls. Goodland in Scott City today for baseball and for softball. We'll have coverage of the softball doubleheader here on Rocket 102.5 KLOE. And also today is the St. Francis Invitational. Forgot to mention Kansas baseball. Saw we talked about them, how good they've been. Tyson Owens earned Big 12 Player of the Week and Newcomer of the Week after hitting a unbelievable 625 with 3 homers in a 4-0 week. That's what Garrett hits every day in softball.
A little different, though.
625.
A little different when the ball's coming in at like 20 miles an hour than compared to good old 95 miles.
Let me ask you, is it easier to hit slow pitch softball than hitting a fastball? Because I'm telling you, sometimes I have a hard time waiting on that ball to get there.
It took me a little bit for sure, but yes, it is. It is easier. Even if first at bat ever of slow pitch softball, it did take some adjusting, but it was still easier than trying to face a 90-mile-an-hour
fastball. Speaking of 90-mile-an-hour fastballs and above, Rockies and Royals are both off yesterday. They are resuming their seasons today. Colorado taking on the Reds in Cincinnati. And let's see, you've got Kansas City in Sacramento. I keep getting this, but Sacramento take on the A's, the mobile A's. They'll only be there for another year after this, and then they're at Vegas, I think.
They're in Vegas. I don't remember how long it is. 1 or 2.
It's either next year or the following year they're going to go to Vegas. I don't know, not for sure on that, but anyway, first pitch on AM 790 KHBX, 8:40 Central Time. God, late first pitch time. Not going to make it to that one, folks. It's going to be too late. It's when it's 7:40 Mountain Time and the Royals are playing, like it's going to be a late night.
Yep.
Simple as that. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off Gray? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on the New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Am I the only one that finds it weird that the NBA just has kind of strung out their postseason awards? They hand out one a week. Yesterday, the Rookie of the Year was handed out to Cooper Flaggy, Just Edge, Con Knipple. So, first of all, question, is it weird that they're doing it this way and not all at once like everybody else? And then, did they get it right with Flag over Knipple?
I think I think it's weird, yes. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, we still don't know who the MVP is.
No.
And it's a regular season award, but like say the MVP gets bounced in the first round, obviously you can't make your judgment on that, but it's not going to happen till the next week or so after the second round. I don't know. It's stupid. I do think Flagg deserved it over Kneppel, though. I mean, Flagg, they both had great seasons, but Flagg I think he edged him just a little bit more on the stats.
Connor Kneppel, I didn't think he'd be this great at the NBA. He's been kind of a surprise. I figured he'd be fine, but not be this good right out of the gates. So, but when you can shoot the three in today's game, you can really got a great chance of making some big time headlines. And that's what he did. All right, that'll do it for us today. Thanks to Evan Bland. Thanks to all the listeners and the texters for chiming in. Appreciate you hitting me up today and talking to us here on the Morning Blitz. We will talk to you tomorrow in 23 hours. Have a good one. It's been the Blitz.